share. Pick up the phone, turn it up. Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. And if you've got something to share, pick up the phone, turn it up. Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. Something to share.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you have the medium, you have the opportunity, and we have the environment. The telecommunication system has been liberalized, and that is extremely good for our democracy. We're able to express our opinion, to discuss issues, and we provoke discussion. We encourage it in our homes, in our communities, on our block, discuss the issues at hand. Always trying to come up with suggestions and answers. You're on Real FM 91.9, 91.5. You're on We Noise FM 94.9. That is in Brooklyn, New York. We invite you to share the program, subscribe, put us on whatever page or whatever chat room that you have. Even if people don't like us, but maybe they may want to discuss the issues we are discussing. You know, over the last couple of days, I've been in a discussion with some of my NDC friends. Sometimes they hide away from me, but sometimes they cannot avoid it. They was a bit annoyed. They say I'm attacking Deacon. Why I don't speak about Kit Mitchell. I did a program many time ago, why I am attacking Deacon. And I've always said, I concern about the policy of a government. Now, politicians are most scrutinized in all profession. And let's call the field of politics their profession. More than medical doctors. Medical doctors make quite a lot of blunders. Some of them is because of the careless, lackadaisical, under stress, I just cannot be bothered. But some people would advance the view that they kill half the patients that come to them. Lawyers make a lot. Sometimes they take the client's money, give them all confidence we could win that case easy. And 2 days before the case, they tell them to plead guilty. And God help you if you in front judge 1,000 years. Judge 1,000 years, no joke. Even though the lawyer beg and plead and mitigate, she has 12 years, she might give 10 and a half. But you don't hear people very critical of lawyers or doctors or educators or economists or managers. So they really take politicians to task. Pathetic to politicians. My heart goes out to them. And I don't normally criticize them for mistake or mistakes they maybe make when they're speaking. Because once you're speaking and not from a script, you're more likely to make mistakes. You're more likely to have wrong pronunciations because you're speaking just spontaneously. You may not even be able to manage English and dialect at the same time. So I am very tolerant to politicians and not very critical of them. So I look at the policies of the politician and the regular utterances. So if a politician says something once, you say that is a slip of the tongue, it's not a fault of the mind. But if he is persistent, then you know that might be part of the unwritten policy. And then you will hear me speaking about it. So yes, over the last almost 3 years, I've been very, very critical of Deacon Mitchell. But the individual should say, then you're not critical of Keith Mitchell. And I normally ask them, give me 5 things that Keith did that you disagree with. And they're struggling. You see, when you speak about education in Grenada, the only person my mind go to is Eric Matthew Gary. He built 28 schools in 13 and a half years. In 13 and a half years, 28 schools was built by him. The St. George's University, pre-primary education, that is what you might call kindergarten now. We pick up the American term. Technical education. And Gary never hesitated to speak to his supporters and say, send the children to school. Send the children to school. And that was coming from an individual that did not have formal education, but recognized the invaluable and paramount importance of an educated child in our society. So today, you hardly will hear me speaking about a politician based upon his contribution to education. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, good day.
I just joined you. I don't know if I get the new ball.
Well, you have the new ball. Bowl it.
Good. First of all, to all the listening public of Target Program and Rhythm, I want to say congratulations to the new national party, to the new leadership for have taken a step in the right direction by putting into action 4 new caretakers. As you normally heard the policy of this party, caretakers does not be finally the candidate, but they have the opportunity. That's the policy of the new national party. That's showing a very good step in the right direction. That's showing to those who running them out and say NNP don't, to show them NNP is well and alive and have things in place. Some of them start to panic. Because I want to say to the nation, these 4 people is capable. And we have to utilize them some way. Because they have what it takes to help in the rescuing of this country. So I congratulate the party. Secondly, Mr. Pierre, I also want to say, I've been trained for a number of years. I saw government go and government come. And in spite of how rough people still say Trinidad is, the present government in Trinidad always have respect for the people and for the opposition members of parliament in this country. But I seen right now for the first time That's one of the strangest things. Have a government in Grenada. Have no respect for the people, for the electorate. No respect for the opposition member. Not realizing that the member of the opposition bench voted into as well as them. This is disrespect, and we must not take that like. We don't have a one-man rule because I never know of any referendum was recently passed to say, well, we have a one-man rule. But indirectly, in looking that way. So people take note, and I want you all to comment on that. Let us not sit idle. Let us always call and make our comments. Something is wrong. I rest my case for somebody. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
And we provide the medium for your comments. One of the topics you mentioned with the NNP 4 new addition to the caretaker list, I will comment on it someday. But as I said, when you speak about education in Grenada, you will not hear me readily complimenting a politician because of the amount of work done by Gary. I think he is a star. Maurice Bishop came when they experimented the TAT and the 4.5 years, and a number of people had the opportunity to go to East Bloc countries and get education. And that was good. Doesn't matter where you get education. Because of the collapse of that revolution and the hostility of the countries they went and training, most of them were trapped in Grenada. Most of them remained in Grenada. And the country benefit from it. So Maurice Bishop too contributed. In the area of NNP, you must speak about Mitchell. The St. George's University considered him as the Prime Minister of Education. And under Keith Mitchell, more scholarship was given to Grenadians than in any other term by any other leader in Grenada. So you must speak about it, where education is concerned. Now, if you speak about infrastructure, you may not hear me commenting about infrastructure in Grenada now. I've always said Grenada have the best network of roads in the region. In my opinion, the roads are relatively good, and I don't complain necessarily on roads. But if this government do something on road, you may not even hear me talk about it. Why? Because when you're talking about roads and infrastructure, NNP under Keith Mitchell set the standard. They set the template. Anybody that come after is maintenance work to do. So you don't talk about that. When you talk about roads in Grenada, you have to talk about Keith Mitchell, NNP. So if NDC fix a piece of road now, you don't hear me talk about that. That is insignificant. That is minor. That is just normal, expected maintenance work. If you want to talk about sports in Grenada, you don't have to speak again about Keith Mitchell. Build stadia, 3 stadium, 1 mashup he build back. A sport enthusiast, an individual, once you have an idea about sports, he will listen to you. I always remember when a group of individuals said they was discussing an idea with Patrick Simmons, and he tell them, go to Keith. Kit is going to support that. He was not on the same party with Kit, but he was convinced that that idea on sport, Kit would gravitate towards it. So when you're talking about sports in Grenada, you may not hear me complimenting a government because they do a little thing on sports. The template, the standard, the pioneering work, the master advancement was already made by Kit Mitchell and the NNP. Speaking about youth development in Grenada, you can't speak about anybody else but Kit Mitchell. He is the flag bearer. He set the standard. He set the template. The others just following from a distance in his footsteps. I have said repeatedly that the Imani program is a masterpiece of no mean quality. A program that gives 3,000 to 4,000 young Grenadians a second chance. And I'm a man who believes in second chance. And much more was done to the program. Recognizing that there was not enough males in the program, other programs were started to accommodate and to attract males. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, if I was close to you, I would have shaken you too. Because when coming for education, you can't know. I don't see none of them could talk to Dr. Mitchell. When coming for infrastructure development, I don't see none of them could talk to Dr. Mitchell. When coming for youth upliftment, sports, just name it, science and technology in this country, I don't see none of them could put their foot in Dr. Mitchell's shoes. Yeah? And I want to say, I love that. You understand? And I belong to a political party what supporting developing country, what supporting developing people. Yeah? When you have a government what developing people, but first you must like people. Yeah, to give them a chance, to give them a second chance, so they can gain an opportunity, education, and to move forward in life. Second of all, Mr. Pierre, I listen about the intercall what gone. First, I must say to the school teachers and coaches with the athletes, they need to coach these athletes to ride above obstacles and learn how to handle situations like these, what happened at the National Stadium. Now, which is the guy right, athlete right to say that he's not comment, like no comments. No, at the same time, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Right? Now, what I do understand that he was waiting for the media. He knew that the media to come to interview him. And then part of the way, he decided to change his mind because of what other athlete was facing with bullies, with people under the life. Because a particular athlete make a mistake, right? But then what they must learn to do in the school, to coach these children, to ride above these things. Because it will meet these things. You cannot run away from it. You have to learn to face. Yeah? You have to learn to face critics, whether positive or negative. Even on that, if Jason Skit was supporting NDC, you would have never hear all this amount of riot, what is going on with him now. But just because he's not riding on the saffron boat, you hear who to run who you will hear who want to say if it was me, I give him a lash of bottle. I've been hearing and all those things coming from those who I know personally, they're coming up from the mouth of the NDC supporters. They had a big program with him. And that guy who does do ride along. Right? And nothing good they could say about him. But I want to say this especially to the female journalists. NDC don't want you. What you fighting up behind them for? What you dogging behind somebody who don't like you? What don't bother with you? What run you out of the convention? They do business with you. They only have you there to use you as the political pawn. So then why you taking this little schoolboy and make him a political pawn for political mileage? You scholar and the other guy. That don't make no sense. Leave school children out of your politics and trying to use you don't say you're concerned and you're so concerned. You don't concern. You're using as a political pawn. And then because Jason skit and jumping on all your boats, that is what they're trying to do. Yeah? So I'm appealing to the coaches and the teachers and them in the school. They need to teach children how to handle situations like this. And once again, I would like to say congratulations to the 4 new candidates, or 4 new caretakers, I should say. Yes. So
thank you.
Once again, let us rally behind them and let us rally behind our new political leader. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
I've not commented much on the sports. But if an athlete choose not to speak to a journalist, the athlete downright, I don't care if the athletes wanted to speak before change their mind. That athlete is running in a game. And if the athlete feels that interacting with that journalist would affect him negatively, that athlete should walk away. In fact, I will go further than that. The school should have students that not running on that day to protect those athletes. Because you could ask an athlete a question and derail him. If you are a journalist and you are not a professional, or you do not wish to act in a professional manner because of your own prejudice, you could ask an athlete one question and derail him. So if the athlete believes that he look at your face and his sixth sense tell him, don't answer question, and if I am a teacher in the school, or if I am a coach, I'll tell the athlete, don't answer. If on the last minute they ask you a question and you don't like how you walk away, that athlete want to put all the they don't want to be derailed. And the journalists have to learn not to ask the athlete question to derail them. But otherwise, I just want to see more work in sports, more effort in sports. I'm not satisfied with the amount of effort that is placed in the primary schools. That is where you make sportsmen. That is a factory. By the time they reach in secondary school, they are already athletes. They shape up because of the motivation and they fine-tune. But in primary schools, that is when we produce athletes. I want to compliment all those who are involved. I want to side over mistakes and blunders. I want everybody to learn from the mistakes. So I generally kept silent on it. but I was speaking about policies of government. When you talk about the government that tried to legislate discipline, you speak about Dr. Keith Mitchell, NNP under Gregory Boyd. I admire them for that. One of the problems we have in the Caribbean and Africa is ill-disciplined politics. I am not one for all these foreign loans. Some of these loans are unnecessary. We shouldn't take them. We are burying ourselves in debt. But because of ill-discipline, financial ill-discipline, a lot of the Caribbean countries are bankrupt. And the economy is in trouble. The amount of loans they have, they will never be able to pay it. They're on their knees begging foreign countries. You're an independent country, and a lot of these loans are not necessary. Yes, Scholar.
Yeah, afternoon, Mr. Pierre. How are you?
Great, man.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, I want to say congratulations to the 4 caretakers that were appointed yesterday evening. We wish them great success in the endeavor as they go forward. I to champion the cause of the constituency. We wish them that they will be in perfect health as they chart the way forward, and let them be an encourager to the young people of Greater Caribbean Peter Martinique. That in politics is not something bad to get into. But honest and care, I love people, and I want to see development in people's life. Successful. So I want to say congratulations to them and wish them the best of luck.
Thank you, Colin.
I'm happy to have a blessing.
Yes. So I believe discipline is an important thing. And when Keith Mitchell, Gregory Boyd, and the NNP started legislating discipline, I'm in full support of that. So I am shocked, disappointed, and angry that Deacon Mitchell, a lawyer, coming and dismantling the discipline put in place to address the economy. We saw the result of the discipline placed by the NNP. As a result of that legislative discipline, the incoming government did not meet a broken treasury. They met a pregnant treasury. The first time in the history of Grenada that the government did everything possible for economic discipline. Caribbean government and communists and socialists like to blame the IMF. People invite the IMF in the country because they cannot manage their resources. You can manage what you have. You're living above your means. So the International Monetary Fund come and help you to take medicine, to take financial medicine, economic medicine, to manage yourself. In most instances, the medicine you take affect the social impact, cut social program, wages, increase productivity, cut the workforce. Yes, Scholar, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, my doctor.
Yes, my brother.
Oh, yes, sir.
Great man.
I don't admire you. In other words, you're getting better every day now.
More practice.
I wonder who could confer an honorary degree on you.
Well, that might spoil me. I prefer a good shot of rum.
I'll tell you something, sir. You're so right. I don't know what is holding back our great students and our great people. It is the economy. People doesn't like to hear it, but it is the economy. No, you're going to educate a person to the max, and you cannot give them something to do. It's better you don't educate them. Yeah? So the economy is holding back our sports people. We have great sports people here, great singers here, but we don't have the facility for them. We don't have the economy to pay them, to retain them. And that is one of the big problem we have here. So we have to contemplate and monetizing the economy so that we will be able to pay our people, employ them and pay them here, so that we retire here, not with $20,000 in the bank, but with millions of dollars. The economy can do it. And you are so right. And I said it on our national radio station. We do not need any grants and loans. We have to work the economy. That's what we have to do. We failing to allow the economy to do what it ought to do, and we're running for loans that create more problems for us. So yes, you're so right. We do not really need loans. We need to get the economy mobilized to produce, to get us out of where we are, and to take us forward. Have a good
Yes, scholar. So I give Dr. Mitchell and Gregory Bowen high rating for trying to legislate discipline. No, without discipline. They say give a man food, drink, and woman, and see if he could survive that. If he could survive that, then you could start to deal with him good. Food, excess food, liquor, and woman. Yes, scholar, welcome.
And keep on talking. Tell the truth about them. And there's some straight on. Maybe next time. One time.
Yes, scholar, thank you. We have to be realistic. We don't have discipline. It's not I say to some of my friends, it's not the amount of money that come in your pocket. It's what you do with the money that come in your pocket. Some people inherited wealth, they squander it. One amount of gold chain around the neck. Well, why you don't open a gold shop? You are chain around your neck with a goat. Somebody will cut out your neck for the gold. Sell the gold instead. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, darling, welcome to hear your voice.
Yes, I want to support you, by talking about former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Dr. Kit Mitchell and Gregory Bowen and the entire NNP team. I could remember in 1995 when NNP took office, yes, from the NDC. There wasn't no Ministry of Youth and Sports, even culture. It was Dr. the Right Honorable Kit Mitchell, former Prime Minister, and the team set up a Ministry of Youth and Sports and Culture, and former MP for St. Patrick's East, Adrian Spaceman Mitchell, was the minister. Yes? And it grew from strength to strength. We got a national stadium, and the development of sports in the country, even up to 2022. People could go back and look at the history. So I don't want to shift your points, but want to say sports and music, culture helps young people have that discipline in them. And I call on much more discipline and work together. It was a desk that was there under NDC, and NNP brought it to a full Ministry of Youth and Sport, and the development went on. So keep going, Mr. Pierre. God bless you.
Thank you, Carla. It bleeds my heart to know the way we are flaunting the laws and violating the discipline, the economic discipline principles that have been established in the country. The NNP government legislated discipline and created frack. They didn't put one of their friends in frack. They put somebody in frack that they know against them. Who does that? Speaking to a minister in Jamaica, I happened to cross paths with him many years ago. He said, they're crazy. He said, I agree with the principle, but you can't legislate it. And they put almost a strong supporter of the NDC in charge of frack. I admire them for that. They legislate discipline. They restricted their own ministers from traveling. And I know some of them was not pleased. The government said, no, we have to cut costs. We cannot be traveling. Seek the information online. I've heard stories where the Ministry of Finance went out. And because the meeting, out of the big meeting, they had sub-meetings. And the individual was asking countries in the Caribbean to represent them on other issues. So effort was made not to squander the limited resources that we have. That is what I call the legislation of discipline. The GDP Bank, it was there since 1973. No minister got loan for it. Now, how today in Grenada we could get a bandit government to come and break those laws and flaunt those laws and violate the restrictions and the discipline we have in place, the economic discipline. Yes, caller, welcome.
So Pierre,
Yes, my brother, welcome.
they legislate discipline until the money they have show them what for. Because fools make money, but it's wise man to spend it. Wise man spend it now, them put on them send it back. I praise this government for doing the things they do. So Pierre, these people and them, they try to bring back the marketing board on a new stand. In other words, government and private ownership. In other words, government has 40% shares and private owners, they have 60% shares. So they are the same, but they have to mind it good. Not like how NFP minds the marketing board. With $15 million squander, you talk about squander, legislation squander, $15 million squander in the country. The taxpayers at the country pay back now. They have to pay it back by the hook and the crook because of the incompetency of the new national party. They can't manage.
All right, thank you, caller. Caller, you always make the point, fools make money, but it takes wise men to spend it. There is a lot of people in Grenada who work hard and they develop assets. They educate their children. They send them to school. When the children get education, they sell the parents' assets, mortgage the parents' house, and the parents die with a sad heart. And they say, my mother real stupid. All the time she did making all this money. They have a statement, they say, from rags to riches to rags. I want you to listen to that again. From rags to riches to rags. Go in the town of Grenville, Sotes, and many other areas. And 30 years ago, the people who own the business, The children is in New York today, seeing after the elderly, working in supermarkets, walking dog, and the parents was multi-millionaires. They squandered the parents' money and the energy and the effort. And that is what I say. That is why I say our economy is in trouble. Our economy in Grenada, the income that we get, the GDP is dependent in 4 areas. Remittance from overseas. Grenadians who go away and send back money. Boyfriend who send for the girl. Vice versa. St. George's University. More than 20% of our GDP is as a result of St. George's University directly and indirectly. The sale of passport, Rav Gonzal call it prostitute house, but I agree with him. The sale of passport and tourism. We could add gratis the United States of America and Europe. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
And all is well?
Great, man.
Right. Now, Mr. Pierre, I want to congratulate the NMP on selecting or appointing caretakers with the intention of being candidates for the next coming election. Hats off to them. That's a good start. I will hope that these people acclimatize themselves in their areas and do a lot of groundwork. In other words, they must search for information so that when people ask them, they can answer, and decisions that are taken in the country, find as much answers as possible so that you can explain to people when you go wrong and show them what the NMP have in stock for them if and it could be returned to power. So I think it's a good time now for the people to get themselves acclimatized with them. One thing we have to be very careful about. We saw a little piece of it in the last election. Some people, some candidates didn't like some of the candidates in certain way. They was not speaking in favor of the person. If an area, a candidate is running for an area, an MP candidate is running for an area, if you support an MP, you must show your weight and the person. Don't go behind. I don't say things.
You are very close to the party. So this is an internal chastisement.
Right.
That is something you have to tell them internally.
Well, I'm telling them in common. But I'm telling them no to because
okay, go ahead.
I see it happen last election. And I'm saying it is a dangerous thing. If you support the party, support the party. You support the candidate that is there, it wasn't your choice of the candidate, still support it. And let me tell you why I'm saying that, Mr. Pierre. That
is something you should make strong if you're close to the party. I am not close to the party at all. I'm not a member of a political party. Well, but if you have access to the ministers, that is something you should be pointing out there, not here.
Well, I'm not certain that I have access to
okay, go ahead.
The person. So I'm saying, I see it happen already. I'm old in politics. I don't hear a lot of years. I vote a lot of time. And I'm saying I see it happen. We have to learn to control ourselves.
Okay.
Right? Otherwise, it's not a good way doing for the party. In my constituency, I saw it happen.
Thank you, Colin.
And I heard about it in other constituencies. So I'm saying we have to be careful. The NMP have a lot of work on the ground to do. And let us not think that is a walkover. There is a lot of work to be done. And be prepared. Those who put themselves up as candidates, be prepared that there is a lot of work. You're going to get a lot of criticism. You're going to get people saying things against you. So you have to stand them or don't stay in the race.
Thank you.
Right? Don't stay in the race if you can't stand it. I've noticed something with the NC, a motion that was made in the last convention, they are saying that persons, organized group like unions, can become members of the party. So that could have a catch. That could have a catch. Anybody is free to join any political party. But when you're asking for the membership, for the executive, or in the party to be a to select people, that could be dangerous. Be careful with how we can control them doing that. But I'm saying be careful with what.
What you can't control, you're wasting time with it. You're wasting time.
It's good to know.
That is why I'm saying to you. There are certain issues you could only influence your party members with. So, if you have access to any level of your party, you push that there.
Yes, I try to push it where it's possible, you know. But I'm saying, because it is an open thing, because the NDC have made it open now, open, you will hear debate on it, you will hear talk on it. So you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
That's what a good scout is.
Okay.
Be prepared. That's what I'm saying. Just be prepared, because you're going to hear this coming along and you're going to see it. All effort is made to stamp down the NMP from getting into the frontline politics again.
Yeah,
all effort is made. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Well, that is the purpose of a party. NDC supposed to make all effort to prevent NNP from coming in power, and the only value our opposition have is to get rid of the government. I mean, there are no soft way to put it. But Grenadians must understand, sometimes it's like a paradox. And I say that because people asking me, and I constantly say to people, I'm concerned a lot about the policies of a government. And if the 4 areas that our economy depends on, there is no other growth in the economy. It is remittance from away. During COVID-19, Grenada remittance increased, unlike all other countries in the region. The St. George University contribute more than 20% of our GDP. The sale of passport and American tourists. A tourist from outside, Europe. Chinese tourists doesn't spend much money. Japanese tourists kind of mean. The American tourist is the most free-handed in the world. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, once again. Let me congratulate you for last caller. You are so right. You are in a grouping and you have problems with grouping. Why you want to bring it in the open? Solve it inside there. And that is one of the problems we have, the indiscipline, that we cannot control ourselves and create more problems by doing this. So you're extremely right, Mr. Pierre. I congratulate you for that. Have a good day.
Thank you, Colin. You see, more often than not, I ask people, when I speak, what is it that I'm saying that is not the truth? I avoid breaking news because I don't have the system in place to verify breaking news. But I deal a lot with the policies of the government. And I'll be asking questions about that, because that is what determines the direction. And there are some policies that are written and some unwritten. The unwritten policies you pick up from the utterances, the expression from the different ministers. And if you see some consistency in the expression, it more likely was discussed in a meeting as a position. Now, when you speak about tolerance, Keith Mitchell, Gregory Bowen, Miss Modest, Yolande Bain Hasford, Oliver Joseph, Mr. Steele, Emmeline Pierre, these are the masters of tolerance in Grenada. For over the last 10 years, I've seen these people attack mercilessly. The women was not spared. They went after the women as if it's no tomorrow. Yolande Bain didn't flinch. She never tried to defend herself from those unreasonable attacks. I say she and Gregory Bowen must be made from the same material. In the same vein, the NNP liberalized the telecommunication network in the face of the most brutal attack on them. That is a standard set. So NDC, that is the standard you have to follow. I said the the Prime Minister of Grenada is an agricultural lunatic. And individuals say you're disrespectful to the Prime Minister. I said no. I got that term from the Minister of Agriculture. He was calling people lunatic and idiot in the Parliament. But if the Prime Minister of a country is saying you're going to rent or lend Greenlet truck to pick guava and mango and coconut, you say, well, the Prime Minister make a mistake. You wouldn't take that seriously. You say the Prime Minister must be reading some science fiction book and he make that statement. But when the Prime Minister didn't correct the statement, then you're asking who advising this Prime Minister? You know the Prime Minister is a lawyer and he never pick up nutmeg. He lie about nutmeg. Never pick up nutmeg. Then the Prime Minister spoke about a net to collect seaweed. Well, even if it is possible, is it economically realistic and justified? The Prime Minister didn't. The Prime Minister picked up black pepper and suggesting it should be used as a substitute for the crops we have in face of Hurricane Pierre. The Prime Minister either stupid twice, idiotish, I badly advised. The Prime Minister had a Minister of Agriculture who spent half his life in agriculture. The next half he spent it with the commodity board, nutmeg and cocoa. And the third half of his life he's a politician. The Prime Minister gave him 10, 12 people as an advisory lead when he became the Minister of Agriculture. The most experienced person in agriculture. The Prime Minister of Grenada found it necessary to give him 10 advisors. Now, if the Prime Minister is not an agricultural lunatic, then tell me who else is justified in Grenada to be called so. The Prime Minister is an embarrassment to extension officers and agriculture people in the whole Caribbean. Grenadian personnel going in meeting be laughed at. They will say, why Prime Minister? From blunder to blunder. The Prime Minister declared marketing board. We are hearing marketing board beat him in court. He take it personally. So he wanted the demise of the board. This man is going to cause the country to go on the road. Look at what the Prime Minister did to the Agriculture Bank. Scholar, welcome. And you're a last scholar.
Yes. But if he didn't play in fields when he passing overhead, he could make them statement he making there because he don't know nothing about putting his hand in dirt. He's a lunatic, you say he's a lunatic, and he's one.
Enormous.
Of course. And then I hear I spoke to Andrew Lewis yesterday afternoon. I say you just make some points in Parliament, but then sometimes you just make some stupid points. He asked me if he's not supposed to show that. I say, yeah, when they make good points to support that.
But not when they make.
When they're stupid, when they come with a stupidness, tell them it's stupidness.
Of course.
They buy them, you know. Because they buy union now. They
can't buy union for long. Union is a thing you can't really buy for long. A union, you have to understand that the unions always support the NDC. They always support the GNP. Some of these union people believe that they are better than others. Particularly senior public officers, teachers, nurses, doctors, senior policemen, they always believe they are a little better than the rest.
So that way when you hold them, you have to put them in a corner.
No, we have to educate them. No. You educate them.
Question them and cross question.
Yes, you have to question and question.
Yeah. I know what I'm saying, you know. Yeah. I say like V Nazim book. I choose my carefully too, you know.
Yeah, but even Nazim book again is an next case for the crime. Because all of them could have advised, they could have nudged it to. If was Glenn really pulling him out from this statement?
Yeah. But if they're looking for them, they're putting the ball where it's too falling.
Yeah. Yes, scholar. We're rounding up to the end. So this is what I say to my NDC friends. I concentrate on policy. NDC is under the microscope. Every time you ask them a question, they tell you about Kit. Kit are done. The best politician that passed in Grenada and the Commonwealth is Kit Mitchell. The level of tolerance that Kit Mitchell have for criticism. I don't know how new politicians going to work it. The template, the standard that these people set. Kit Mitchell, Gregory Bowen, Yolan Bain, Miss Modest, Emmeline Pierre, Oliver Joseph, Mr. Steele. Standard that they set for criticism in the country. You who come in now, somebody call you an agricultural lunatic when you made some of the dumbest statements in the world, and members say you disrespecting them. The NDC is the last group of people in Grenada to speak about disrespect. They disrespect the church. They said the spokesman that they honor, he said the church. Some of the things he's even afraid to see. And the NDC tolerated and honored these individuals. The Prince of Hate, the most fractious motivational speaker. I am on the radio speaking. Based upon what I say, a political group not supposed to associate themselves with. And if the perception outside is that I speaking on behalf of NNP, nothing is wrong with that. I could say anything I want to say. But NNP have to disassociate themselves with a statement that I make if it is a statement of hate or inciting violence. The NDC has not done that. Instead, the Prime Minister of Grenada was inciting violence against the opposition. We come to the end of our program now, but what we do, we provoke discussion. So we want you to discuss it. And we invite you to check me when I speak. When I speak, I dare you to take me on. We're back with you again next week in 12 and 1 for another opportunity. And then I may ask Peter David another question. Thank you very much.
Join the talk, keep Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end.